Rather than large, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. We are talking Declan Rice to Manchester United if Qatar can get their bid approved in time. We are talking Mikel Arteta talking directly to Kai Havertz this week in order to get the deal done. Kai Havertz has told Chelsea, you need to sell me to Arsenal. I won't be going to Bayern and I won't be staying as well. Gundogan will make his final decision this week, but he has been given a very big offer from Saudi Arabia, and as well Arsenal are looking to sell some players to Saudi Arabia for some big fees, including Thomas Partey, for us to fund our transfer summer. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. In the comment box below, how many players, actually which players do you think Arsenal should sell to Saudi Arabia for crazy amounts of money so that we can invest in our transfer window? Listen, I think everyone is doing it. There is no shame in Arsenal going, we want 50 million euros in Rob Holding, we want 60 in Thomas Partey, and a few other players that we could sell that we're going to talk about in this video. And if we could get around 200 million or 150 million, that would definitely boost our transfer summer. Just imagine Arsenal signing Declan Rice for 100 million, and then we make sales close to 100 million from Saudi Arabia. It would be massive. We would have the financial spending power that nobody has. And look, FFP would not be even close to our door, because listen, we are getting to spend money we are making in the market. It's raining money in Saudi Arabia, and Arsenal just joined the party. Let's get this to 500 likes. Also your thoughts and comments below. Name the players you want shipped to Saudi Arabia, and it might just as well happen. But let's start off with Mikel Arteta, who is actually in talks directly with Kai Havertz. He's talked to the player on phone. He's talking to him directly. And according to ESPN's James Ollie, he's promised him 4 positions or 5 positions next season. He says he will play as a number 8. That is replacing Granit Xhaka in the side. He will play as a number 10. Now, you have to remember that we do not have a number 10 in our system because we play a 4-3-3. So literally that means that we might see Arsenal playing a 4-2-3-1 system where maybe Xhaka and Odegaard are sitting in the pivot, Kai Havertz are in the number 10, and then Saka and Martinelli out wide. But he's been promised a number 10 role, an 8 role, and also any of the roles that he would like to play at Arsenal up front. That means he can replace Saka, he can replace Gabriel Martinelli, or even Gabriel Jesus as well. So look, I think Mikel Arteta is his own perpetrator of this deal. He's the only person who understands why Arsenal want to sign this guy. I don't think we have any other, sources that have claimed that Arsenal as a whole, or the board, or, the inner board is interested in Kai Havertz or are backing Mikel Arteta on that decision. It is a one-man decision. He understands him. He really understands him, and he's gone, I'm going to sign him, I'll take him at Arsenal, and make him the player that I think he will become. Now, James Ole is also saying that Chelsea are under pressure to drop their asking price for Kai Havertz after being informed he has no intention of signing a new contract. Arsenal interested in pursuing a move, and that is what's going to happen this week. So, look, Chelsea want to sell before June the 30th because literally that makes their financial books much better. That puts them on the right side, on the positive side of FFP, and you want to be on that. You want to be on that side. You want to be on the right side of FFP. You want to be on the side where the books balance. They have spent a lot of money in the last maybe 1.5 years. They have not actually bought, sold well. They have not actually brought in good revenue. They have dropped in terms of form, in terms of, I think their ability to make money as a club has fallen short. So they will need to sell some players before June the 30th, just to make sure that in that financial year, in their previous financial year or current financial year, they are on the right side of the books with FFP. And that is why Arsenal are very, very optimistic that when they go in with a second bid, Chelsea will not turn it down. It might be a problem with, maybe the structure. They might want more money up front just to cover for the holes in their books. Or probably they might want the money in lesser installments. But Arsenal know this one will get over the line. Now, in terms of Mikel Arteta promising Kai Havertz a lot of positions, I don't think there's a problem with that. It is very, very indicative of what we've been doing for the last 3 years. We've been signing players with a lot of position of versatility. Look at Martin Odegaard. Odegaard is literally a guy who can play anywhere in midfield, in all those attacking positions. I think you can play him on either side of midfield in terms of an attacking player. And then you can also play him in that double pivot with Thomas Partey, with Declan Rice, with Granit Xhaka, and he will actually work out very, very well. You look at Saka. He's a player who's played at right back, left back, right wing, left wing as well. I think Saka can play in a 10. That's my opinion. I don't even have anything to back it up. I think Gabriel Martinelli is such a very good player in terms of, him playing on the left because, look, he's a right-footed player. So if you played him on the left where he plays this season or he's played this season, that means, he's inverting, he's scoring goals, he's cutting inside. And if you played him on the right with his, where his, stronger foot is, it means you're going to have a lot of deliveries, and he's got the ability to play there as well. So for me, it's the position of versatility is not a surprise to me. It's not a surprise that Mikel Arteta is looking at those players that can play each and everywhere. Deckers can play on the right hand side of midfield, on the left hand side of midfield, and also at CDM, and all these other players that we're looking at are players that are gifted to play in multiple positions. Okay, so Arteta is in talks. Chelsea under pressure at the moment. They need to beat that June 30th deadline. That's number one. But then also, they know before, that after June, Arsenal will be trying to move on to other targets, all right? So it's a lot of interesting information in one video, but I hope this one happens anyway. Now, Ike Gundogan will decide on his future this week. He's been talking to the media during his international break with Germany, and he said, at the moment, I've not decided. Barca, they want me. Borussia Dortmund, I don't want to go back to the German Bundesliga. So Dortmund is out of the race. I love you, Dortmund, but you were never, ever going to get Ike Gundogan. At the moment, Gundogan can go back to Dortmund at 35. Like, he can sign a 3-year deal with Arsenal or Barca, or Saudi Arabia, depends. And then when he looks to retire, he can go back to Dortmund, and be that clutch guy. Just enjoy one or two seasons until he's 36, 37, and then retires from football. But he says he's not going back to the German Bundesliga, and he's still thinking this week it will be time, it will be enough time for him to decide. I think he's going to choose Barca, to be honest, but I just want us to be there. I mean, he's worked with Mikel Arteta. There is a lot of good relationships there. He understands him as a player. The player understands Mikel and his ambitions and what he's building and where he's going to play. And I think one thing he's guaranteed at... I pretty much think he's guaranteed a starting position at every club he goes to. But where he wants to play is where Pedri and Gavi play at Barca. So there is an idea that because he's getting older, he might be forced to play in that CDM role where Sergio Busquets has been playing. And I really don't have a problem with that. I think he's quite capable of doing that. But at Arsenal, he will be given, given the amount of game time he wants. But then also, he will be given that favorite position. Just arriving late into the penalty area. Just there, right? I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work because he needs to track back at times with Alexander Zinchenko playing there, but he's going to play with a player as well in Zinchenko, a man and a player that he's worked with for quite some time at Manchester City. They understand each other on that left-hand side. But anyway, decision will happen this week. So let's wait and see what Gundo is going to decide. If he chooses Arsenal, very good. If he chooses Barca, there is no bad blood there. We will meet in the UEFA Champions League and we'll see. We'll really, really see. Now, Man United are concretely in the race for Declan Rice. However, their bids and their possibility and prospect of signing him still depends on Qatar. Eric Ten Hag, like I reported in the morning, has told the transfer board and whoever's going to work on this transfer business for him, this, some, that, you've got to get me that man. Rice is the player I want in midfield. He doesn't care how much it's going to cost. He doesn't care what Manchester United need to do to bring him Declan Rice to the Old Trafford. He needs him this summer. And that has got me thinking that what if Arsenal had any other targets in the window. And we didn't just focus on Declan Rice. I think Rice is a very, very interesting prospect as a player. I think he's a very, very good player. But it's one that could easily turn into a disappointment, in my opinion. It's one that can easily go either way. He can sign for Arsenal. He can sign for Man United. He can sign for Manchester City. But anyway, Man United will look to hijack this deal if Qatar is decided and crowned as champions of the bidding war in their takeover. So I think as Arsenal fans right now, what do? Do we go supporting Sir, Jim Ratcliffe so that he buys Manchester United? They don't have enough money. They still have that big date hanging over their head, because Ineos has bought them. Or do we support Sir Jim Ratcliffe so that we get Moises Caicedo? I don't know, but Rice and Caicedo, one or the other. It's not both. If Rice doesn't come, then Caicedo is a big possibility. Arsenal do have the money, of course, we know that. So let's wait and see what's going to happen out of there. Now, Arsenal will be looking to harvest some money from Saudi Arabia, according to reports, in terms of selling players in order to fund our transfer window this summer. We have a few players on our shortlist. They are not few because we've talked about around 8 players on this list that could be out of the club and could go to Qatar. Number 1 is Nicola Pepe. If Saudi Arabia came in, not Qatar really, but Saudi Arabia, right? If Saudi Arabia came in for Nicola Pepe, he still has a year on his deal. I think Arsenal could ask for in excess of 30 million euros. And we're not asking for in excess of 30 million euros because he deserves the money or he deserves the price tag. Qatar are giving each and every one what they're asking for. They're like Father Christmas. All you have to do is make a request, and if that request makes it into the top of the list, definitely it will be granted. So I've been looking at the players we could sell to Qatar. Nicola Pepe is one of them. 30 million euros for Nicola Pepe. That is such a very, very good deal. You know what? 30 million euros gives you 15 million to give to Ike Gundogan if he signs on a free in terms of huge wages. But then also it gives you an extra 15 million to sign Timothy Castagne, who has been highlighted as by Mikel Arteta as a top priority, as a top target. So you bring in Ike Gundogan and Timothy Castagne, and you lose Nicola Pepe for around 30 million euros. That is such very, very good business. Number 2, we could look at Thomas Partey. Partey is another player that Saudi Arabia are trying to sound out at the moment. Of course, we have said it's going to be a significant fee. And with Thomas Partey, although I don't want him to leave, just get me right, I don't want him to go. But if we decided to sell him, then it means we have to eat the big frog. So how about going 80 million euros for Thomas Partey? 2 years on his contract, one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League, an Arsenal diehard. I think many Arsenal fans would love to watch him even when he goes to Saudi Arabia. Of course, I'm lying. I can't watch the Saudi Arabian league. But, okay, what I'm trying to rationalize here is that if they are signing each and everything, Thomas Partey is a player of value. Ask yourself, how many players of real value have they signed in Saudi Arabia? I think 1 or 2. Let me see. Ruben Neves is such an interesting one. They've signed him for around 45 million euros from Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think he has 1 year on his deal. Ruben Neves has not performed at the levels of Thomas Partey last campaign. Nowhere near. The other player they've signed, and I will feel is such a good signing, in my opinion. I don't know. All the other signings don't make any sense. 100 million euros for N'Golo Kante on a free. 200 million euros for Karim Benzema on a free. Those are not good signings. Those are just PR signings. But if you're going to build a league, then you will need teams that do have foundations. And I think Partey is a very good player to build around. That's very good PR that I've done there, right? Granit Xhaka is another one. Yes, he's agreed a deal with Bayer Leverkusen, but we could just turn around and go, convince Xhaka. How about you go to Saudi Arabia? You can earn a lot of money and secure generational wealth for your family, right? Just imagine Xhaka going out there. He's 30, signs a 3-year deal. or 2-year deal, because they are giving very, very short-term deals, which shows you that they are not after building a league. They are after building something that is temporary. If Xhaka goes out there, signs maybe 20 million euros per year, right? That is 40 million euros there per year. That's a lot of money for him. Or maybe even 30 million euros per year. Because again, if you have Partey and Xhaka in one team or in one league, I think those are good signings. Those are much better signings than signing, all these guys that we don't even understand. So I think Xhaka is another player that can command a very, very good fee. Still has a year on his contract. We could go for around 45 million euros. So you have 45 million euros for Partey. For Xhaka. You have around 60 million euros for Partey. That's 100. And then 30 for Nicola Pepe. That's 130. Just imagine Arsenal walking away with 130. And I've not talked about Rob Holding. I've not talked about Balogun. I've not talked about Tierney. I've not talked about Lokonga. All those are players that we can woodwink into going and signing for Saudi Arabia, and we make a lot of money. What we can do with that money is we can become expendable. We can become unstoppable. We can become anything that we want to become. But anyway, let's see if the Saudis will agree to our proposals to give them much of the deadwood and some of the quality players that we have in our attempt to build a new squad. I'll see you right in the next one.